In the summer of 2005, Karuk water quality technicians began sampling Iron Gate and Copco reservoirs. The study was aimed at better understanding how the growth of large mats of algae affects water quality. What they found was startling.
We did surface grab samples in both the coves of the reservoirs and the open water and in the river stations above and below the reservoirs to see what kind of levels of algae and toxins were coming into and exiting the reservoirs. The toxic algae that we were finding was Microcystis aeruginosa. It's a type of blue-green algae. Microcystis aeruginosa produces a toxin called microcystin, and microcystin is a liver toxin, so that's why it's a concern for public health. It can also have other effects that are more immediate, like nausea, diarrhea, rashes, other gastric problems and things like that.
We were concerned that there were people recreating on the in the reservoirs. There were children in the reservoirs, there was water skiing, so there was direct ingestion and recreation. And we felt from our quick review and our consultation with our national experts that there was potentially a significant health risk and we should put out some sort of advisory.
In July 2006, samples from Iron Gate Reservoir had the highest levels of microcystin recorded in the United States. Some sample sites exceeded the World Health Organization guidelines by 4,000-fold. Water quality officials consider children to be at the greatest risk of exposure since it takes a lower dose of the toxin to make them sick, and kids are more prone to accidental ingestion during play.
On August 25th, we went out and sampled Iron Gate Reservoir, and we were out collecting our normal samples for our nutrient study. And as we were headed to our second site, we noticed that the water was really green, and there was definitely a slick of Microcystis aeruginosa on top of it. And then when we were out there, stopped to take that sample, we saw people out water skiing. And actually the water skier was, we think, about a 10-year-old boy. And for that sample that we had taken, the tolerable daily intake for a child was exceeded by 60 times. And since we saw that kid fall down about half a dozen times, and he was getting the aerosols from the spray from water skiing, he most likely exceeded the TDI that day.
According to Quorum, the reservoirs create the perfect habitat for this deadly organism to thrive.
The Microcystis aeruginosa likes still, warm water that's nutrient-rich, particularly like nutrients like nitrogen. So the reservoirs were providing pretty much the perfect growing conditions. They were large bathtubs in which the algae had a great growing condition.
The toxin was not detectable upstream of Copco Reservoir, yet high levels of toxin were flowing into the river below Iron Gate Dam. In October 2005, under pressure from tribes and California water quality officials, Pacificorp reluctantly provided the results of their sampling studies. Although Pacificorp's memo indicated that they had observed dangerous levels of toxic algae since 2001, the company failed to warn communities around the reservoirs and downstream of the risk.